So who doesn't order groceries online? Can anybody give me a cheer? You don't order online. Okay, you better start doing that. All right. So I think this customer needs no introduction at all. So I think the slide is already up. So it's Big Basket. So give a round of cheer for Sandeep, who's the associate director in Big Basket, and he's here with us to share some thoughts. Thank you, Sandeep, for joining us.
Hello.
I think when we talk about the supermarket space, Big Basket obviously needs no introduction. But yeah, going with that logic, I think what really is important is the innovation keeps happening, right? And Big Basket leads the spree there, and of course, is coming up with products which is way above when it comes to the online e-commerce progression is concerned, right? So Sandeep, help us understand a little bit about your role in Big Basket, and of course, what are the technology initiatives you're taking here, in Big Basket?
Sure. So I'm working as an associate director. I take care of the order management, payment, offer system, and the whole infrastructure pieces for Big Basket. So from a technology function perspective, our role is about building systems which are highly scalable, which are easy to configure, and then if you look at the grocery space, especially, it is operationally very intensive. It looks like a very easy market to stay, but it's very ops intensive, and then you need to have a lot of optimizations in place to automate a lot of processes, right? And if you really look at the penetration, online grocery has hardly like 4 to 5% penetration compared to the overall grocery buying space, right? So it requires us to experiment with various business models, launch new themes, and then experiment very quickly. So the systems which we are building in a way that they are very much configurable, which enables us launch new businesses very quickly. So if you want to launch a new business, it shouldn't be a like 2 month, 3 month effort. It should be like few weeks kind of an effort to launch it. The other thing which is important for us is we should have an ability to launch these systems in a very small geographic location. So your technology should be capable for us to be able to support that. And typically what we do is any new business which we want to launch, we make these configurations and then launch it in a small location, and then we understand the demography, we understand the customers, we understand what are the optimizations that are required in with respect to operations, technology, and then we kind of scale basically. So for example, BB Now is one initiative which we have taken recently, where the whole release process, everything kind of roll out, everything happened in a matter of one and a half month basically. So we were able to scale pretty fast from a single store to 200 stores. Everything happened in a matter of like 3 months basically. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's how technology is helping us.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's so exciting to hear. So Big Basket has been a customer for New Relic for about a couple of years now, right? I think 3 or 4 years, right? So, how has your journey evolved with New Relic? Just to understand from where it started from and how is it trending today?
Right. So I think we are one of the very early adopters of New Relic, and initially, I mean, few years back, it was completely monolithic system. It's a single system, and it was running on EC2 instances. And the tech stack was not that complex in nature. Most of the New Relic work which we need to do was looking at how do we optimize these APIs, what are the bottlenecks that we typically have, etc. But over the time, we have evolved into a heavily microservice-based system. So we currently have around 100 plus microservices running in the system. So the moment we have a lot of microservices, observability plays a very important role in these areas, because you have a very diverse stack. We use things like Java, Vertex, Node.js, Golang, Python. Like multiple technology stacks are there, and then the way each service talks to each other is also pretty complex in nature. So that's where I think New Relic is able to help us to build this detailed graphs and then understand the dependencies of each services, etc. So that's one area. The other area is the infrastructure piece as well, right? So from a plain EC2 based system, we move to a Kubernetes based system. We manage our own Kubernetes clusters. So it's important to ensure that the clusters are up and running all the time and able to support these services. Again, that's where we have Neuralink agents which are reporting the Kubernetes data as well. And the beauty is with Neuralink is the way it is able to stitch these things together and then give a holistic view of what the application is doing, what the infra is doing, and how the application is utilizing the infra. That's really helping us to identify issues and then root cause things better.
Awesome. That's so good to hear. I think you were just mentioning about some of your technology initiatives, right? Which is coming up new in Big Basket. Would love to hear more about that. Help us understand a little bit about what those initiatives are and how exactly Neuralink is supporting it.
Sure, sure. So we are looking at few purely technology-only initiatives. One is looking at the scale at which we are growing, and I think in the last 2 years it has been a fantastic growth. I think at least our the number of orders, the number of requests that we get has become 10x to what we are doing previously. So it's important for us to upgrade the whole infrastructure. So from a single Kubernetes cluster, we are moving to a stage we want to run multiple Kubernetes clusters, and we also want to bring in latest technologies like service mesh, etc. The moment this infrastructure becomes pretty complex, it's important to have a proper observability tool which is able to stitch things together and give a holistic view of what is happening. So that's where we are planning to take Neuralic's help. One of the other initiative is about how do we improve developer productivity and the speed at which deliver products. So again, there are two things which we are planning to do. One is isolation of the compute environments at a project level in your non-prod environments. So if there is a big project that is running where you depend on some third-party, external parties also have to test it, there are some integrations, it's important to not disturb those setups basically. So typically in many companies, you have a single non-prod environment and then a lot of code getting deployed and causes a lot of instability. So what we are planning to do is have a compute level isolation at a project level and then compute level or a project level observability. So with Neuralink, I think we have a very rich experience with respect to the way we can query data and then create dashboards. So NRQL is one thing which we heavily use and create some custom dashboards. So that's one thing which we are trying to do. And then we are also looking at creating disposable environments for developers so that they can speed up the development cycles. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think one of the most important challenge which all the tech leaders out here would be facing is how to tie it all up together, right? All these sessions are coming, where we're talking about observability and how exactly are we going to tie it all up, right? Now that's one area where I think Big Basket has gone leaps ahead, right? So they have instrumented their entire, all their application services and tied it all to one observability platform, right? So yeah, would love to hear more about that, how exactly that's done.
So yeah, we have multiple, as I said, there are multiple technology stacks, infra components and everything. So, what is important is every technology stack has a different way to measure things. If you take Java, there are different metrics that you need to measure. If you take Node.js, you need to look at the event loop metrics. If you take Golang, you need to look at Go routine, how the Go routines are working, how is the VMs performing, etc. So then the other biggest complex piece is when you are in a microservice architecture, you have a lot of asynchronous frameworks that is coming in, like Vertex, Node.js and everything. So distributed tracing is one important feature that will help you understand the behavior of the applications. What are the bottlenecks, where are things getting slow, what are the things that are happening in parallel, etc. So that's one functionality which we are utilizing in our Node.js and Vertex related stacks. So this is giving a lot of insight to the developers and they're able to understand their system much better. From developers being focusing on just about writing code, they're able to understand technology also a little better with the kind of insights Neuralink is giving. The other areas are, the other components, like as I already mentioned, Kubernetes is one area which we are already sending. AWS related CloudWatch metrics is something which we send. And we are also looking at sending other metrics like Kafka, RDS kind of metrics. And the way Neuralink is able to automatically figure out these dependencies and create this graph is really interesting. And then we want to improve further on those areas.
Awesome. I think that's more than enough questions from a technology standpoint. Let's talk a little bit about customer experience, right? I mean that's important because Big Basket is India's leading online grocery supermarket for a reason, right? And that is because they've made the customer experience the best of the product, right? So help us understand a little bit more how Neuralink is essentially helping you to take data-driven decisions and of course helping you along the customer journey.
Sure. So the most important piece for us is the whole customer experience. For example, most of our customers are on Android and iOS. It's like a lot of customers come on mobile platforms. So it's important for us to ensure that the experience is good, which means the page load times, the speed at which the APIs are performing are better. And then there are also things that happen purely at a customer level where you don't have a typical handle on. There could be some exceptions that are happening in the applications which are typically not reported in other platforms. So we started using mobile events, which is available in Neuralink. We can always create custom events and then start firing those events, and then we are easily able to figure out the customer journey using these mobile events, and we can actually trace a particular customer's journey. So the way we are using it is, if there is any customer support complaint, or if there is a complaint on App Store that a customer says that, hey, I'm not able to check out this particular page is not opening. Previously, it was very difficult to figure out what is really happening with them. With Neuralic's mobile integration and very custom event integration, we're able to easily identify what is going wrong and then give a better performance. And for all the backend services, we have something like AppDeck Score, which talks about what is the end customer performance metric, how does it look like. So again, the backend services, we look at optimizing the response times, looking at this 99 percentile numbers, how are they performing, etc. And then we are also planning for scale. So whenever there is some certain sale events or something that are happening, typically I think 29th of a month or 30th of the month is when we see a lot of scale. I think that's when people get salaries, and then immediately the first thing they do is start buying groceries. So almost every month, the first week is pretty hectic for us. We need to plan for a lot of scale. So with Neuralink, we are able to look at historical trends on all the services, and then what is the capacity planning that we need to do, what kind of projections that are required, and how do we support these use cases. It's kind of helping us in those cases.
Absolutely. I think ensuring a strong and a consistent customer experience is something which everybody strives for, right? Could you give us some example of what initiatives are being taken to ensure that customer experience is at par, or rather growing by leaps and bounds when it comes to making sure that customers stick together?
Yeah, I think some of the new initiatives which we are taking is, one is this whole BB Now. I think that has been the craze. I think the 10-minute grocery delivery has been one space that is popping up. The other initiative which we have, big initiative which we have taken is related to offline stores. I think we have seen a lot of penetration on the online space, but we also felt that there is a good scope of getting people who are in the offline space. They don't have too much technology adoption. I mean, while they use smartphones, but they don't typically install certain apps, and then they still don't have confidence on these applications, etc. So that's where we launched something called a Fresho Store. It's a completely self-manned store with automated checkout and everything. So a customer just has to walk in and then take this fruits and vegetables items, put it on a weighing scale. You have a system which processes these images in real time, understands that this is a fruit, this is a vegetable, this is an apple, and then does the billing, etc. It's a completely self-checkout model where you don't need to have a store executive who is helping with the billing, right? So that has created a great experience. And what is important here is if you're looking at an application which people are using and then trying to order, if there is a failure, yeah, they'll come retry, etc. But in this offline experience, the customer is there in front of the machine, and then if he's not able to check out, if he's not able to make a payment, that causes a huge impact basically. So which means our ability to react to incidents should be very fast, which means you need to have very sophisticated alerting and monitoring mechanisms in place for us to quickly figure out that something is going wrong and then start reacting to the incident. So one is the reacting to the incident. Second thing is triaging the incident. So how fast you're able to resolve this incident, right? So that's where I think we are using Neuralink alerts and AI-based alerts, which is helping us identifying, react to the incidents fast. And second thing is triaging the incidents, because we send so much of data into Neuralink across all the data stacks. We are able to triage the incidents pretty fast and able to come up with remediations.
That's excellent. Finally, to wrap it up, what has been the most important impact which New Relic has had over the years, and where do you see, you going in the next 6 months with this?
Yeah. So New Relic has really helped us. I think at least for my team members, I always tell them from a developer you have matured into an engineer. So the kind of insight New Relic gives into the technology is really amazing. Um, and I think there are a lot of services which we are not fully using with New Relic. I think mobile is something which we started. The other things is synthetics is one area which we want to focus on. How do we build custom journeys of the user and then understand the user journeys better and then monitor the user journeys basically. Then the other big area is how do I bring in all the systems in place and then make New Relic as the one single source of observability. So we're already evaluating something called logs, where your infra logging and then everything is in single place. And then as I spoke previously, the other infra components, whatever we have, be it the Kubernetes, the Kafka, the databases and everything, the caching layers, we are planning to bring it into a single place so that New Relic becomes our single source of observability system.
Awesome. That's excellent to hear. I think one last question on behalf of all the young developers out here. Are you hiring?
Yes, we are hiring across all the roles.
Awesome. So you know who the man is to reach out for all your hiring needs. Awesome. I think that's my time. Thank you very much, Sandeep, for joining. It was a
Thanks,
pleasure
Jasprit.
speaking to you.
Thanks, everyone.